Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Sussex Daily News Channel version 2. This afternoon, we give you a piece of breaking news from CCN. The extremely ungrateful act of Sussex squad, Meghan's fans. The Meghan Markle fans who call themselves the Sussex squad are living, breathing examples that it's nigh on impossible to deal with irrational people. Many of them took to Twitter in the aftermath of Meghan's Grey Anatomy-esque Black Lives Matter speech to complain that Prince William, Duchess Kate, and Prince Charles had been silent about the protests. So, you would imagine that when Prince Charles paid tribute to the contributions of black people to Britain, that those who criticized his earlier silence would applaud him, right? Of course not. The truth is, you really cannot win with people who are searching for fault no matter what you say. Though just 3 minutes long, Prince Charles's speech is both inspiring and educational. Unfortunately, it was inevitable that its message would quickly be overshadowed. It's worth remembering this is the same subsection of Meghan's fan base that rejoiced in Prince Charles being infected with the coronavirus. Commemorating the arrival to British shores of the HMT Empire Windrush back in 1948, acknowledging the absolutely fantastic job that doctors and nurses of African and Caribbean descent are doing during the current pandemic, Prince Charles mentioned all of that in his speech, yet Meghan Markle fans didn't want to listen. They weren't interested in paying tribute to the people Prince Charles sought to honor. Immigrants who helped shape the face of Britain as we know it today? Take a step back. Your problems pale in significance in comparison to the plight of one individual. That is Meghan Markle. You see, Meghan's fans are only really interested in crying about social justice when it fits their narrative. The individuals and groups that Prince Charles sought to highlight are in danger of being lost in the shuffle. Alongside the outright ridiculousness of comments like the one in the tweet above, it appears to me that there's a misconception circulating. It's that the royal family has spent years defending Duchess Kate Middleton at every turn against any media article that's being out against her. This isn't true. And any royal fan who didn't jump aboard the bandwagon in 2016 would know this. Kate Middleton was subject to just as much media scrutiny during her and Prince William's courtship, and early in their marriage. What did Prince Charles do back then? Did he demand that the media stop making Kate cry? Of course not. He did for Kate precisely what he would do later for Meghan Markle. He offered advice and counsel. A fact ignored by most of Meghan's fans is that Britain has enjoyed the freedom of the press since 1695. I know that this won't please many of the children of today's cancel culture, but it's a fact. Even if the royal family wanted to step in, it couldn't. It would be a terrible look for the monarchy to be seen to be censoring coverage of their own. The British press has a history of bashing the royal family. This includes Prince Charles himself, along with his current wife, and also Kate Middleton. If you want to know about press scrutiny in Britain, ask the Duchess of York, or indeed either of her daughters. Prince Charles has been nothing but welcoming to Meghan Markle. He walked her down the aisle at the $40 million wedding that she didn't have to pay for. And he still to this day pays a multi-million-dollar security bill for her and her family. Not to mention that Meghan is actively out there in Hollywood trying to cash in on Prince Charles's family name. Meghan Markle and her fans should thank Prince Charles, not berate him. I won't hold my breath though, as most members of the Sussex squad haven't the class or awareness to realize that it's not always about Meghan. However, as I reported in the video yesterday, Meghan and Harry seem to have been reminded by Prince Charles and invited to leave the garden party. This may be the reason why Meghan's fans have aversion to the Duke of Wales. Indeed, today there have been many comments slashing Meghan about this action. Let me discuss some of them. The first wrote, 4 days before she was walked by him to the altar, and then she was bored at his big important party. Very rude woman. She is not only arrogant, but stupid too. The royal family was only the public stage for her self-promotion, nothing more. No sense of service at all. Good riddance. A user agreed and said, just a few days after they married, there was clearly an issue. Meghan just couldn't accept the garden party wasn't all about her. It was about thanking the British people who give service to others. You could see in the live footage I watched there was a problem. Meghan was apparently overheard saying she was bored and poking her tongue out at guests. That's why you saw the courtiers act and usher them out. They were dragging the Queen's name through the mud, and for a newly married woman in her 30s to act like that, there's clearly something not right with her. They stayed for half an hour before being asked to leave. A fan angrily said, "She thought she was going to be a princess. She asked if she couldn't move to a castle and they said no. She wanted to be adored. The British people said no. You have to work that. She wanted to be adored like Diana. The British people made it clear there was and will only ever be one Diana. So she decided she was going to be a princess in America and make millions. And then the wheels fell off. The world locked down. They were left in someone else's house to get on with it. The British expect you to earn respect and to show respect. She did neither." Another fan explains, "Charles's garden party was held just 4 days after Harry married Meghan. I've heard that Meghan still expected to be the center of attention and was soon bored when she realized she was not getting what she wanted. And she realized that gifts were being handed out, intended for Charles, but she was photographed accepting one. She was also photographed putting out her tongue at Camilla behind her back after Camilla had spoken to her. She was acting up and causing other guests to talk, which Charles found unacceptable, so a car was ordered to take the couple home." Skip this news. We continue with another news from Daily Express. Prince Charles to struggle to fund Harry and Meghan, and his annual income takes a major cut. Prince Charles will reportedly fund Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's new life using his own investment income. However, his annual funds are set to take a major blow as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. The Prince of Wales' annual income from the Duchy of Cornwall has risen by nearly 3% to €22.2 million, but it is expected to fall by a significant amount next year due to the coronavirus pandemic, accounts show. Indeed, according to the Daily Mail, Charles's friends have warned the former Duke and Duchess of Sussex that the cash is not inexhaustible. As heir to the throne, Prince Charles is entitled to the surplus generated by the duchy's vast portfolio of land, buildings, and financial investments. However, rather than using the revenue from the Duchy of Cornwall estate, the Prince of Wales will use his own private funds to help Harry and Meghan Markle with their new life in North America. Now, a source close to Prince Charles has warned this is not an inexhaustible sum of money. He will seek to review the couple's financial arrangements in a year. The Queen is also said to be anxious the couple could use their royal credentials to line their pockets and will be watching them closely. Charles uses his duchy income to pay for his official duties, his London office, and charitable work. He also funds the public duties of Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and some of William and Kate's private costs. He will have done the same for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from his 2019 through 20 income. Harry and Meghan quit as senior royals in March at the end of the financial year. At the time, it was confirmed Charles would continue to make private financial contributions to the Sussexes as they began their new life in the US. In the Duchy's annual report published yesterday, Alistair Martin, the secretary and keeper of the records, predicted a major drop in income for Charles next year. He said the lockdown resulting from COVID-19 was only in place for 1 week of the financial year that this report covers. There is therefore very limited financial impact on these results. As to 2020 through 21, it is too early in the new financial year to be able to say with any confidence what the impact on our financial performance will be. But, despite having a particularly well-diversified asset base, we fully expect the revenue surplus to be down by a significant amount, in large part due to our trading enterprises being closed. He added, "We have not availed ourselves of the various government pandemic support schemes, but have continued to pay all staff." Republic, which campaigns for an elected head of state, called for the government to take control of the estate and stop the prince keeping the surplus. Graham Smith, chief executive of the pressure group, said, "There is simply no justification for this ludicrous amount of money to be thrown at Charles when public services are stretched and local communities are impacted by the coronavirus. It's time the duchy was rolled back in the Crown Estates and its income served the British people, not one prince." He added, "We do not owe Charles a living. This nonsense has to stop." The total worth of the duchy's assets, amounting to more than 1 billion euros, has dropped by nearly 29 million euros. But much of the decrease is linked to the valuation of the duchy's investment property at the end of March amid the COVID-19 outbreak. The report said valuation experts were taking into account the uncertain property market and had cited that less certainty and a higher degree of caution should be attached to the valuations. My news this afternoon has ended. How do you feel about it? Please let me know in the comment section below and we can discuss. Remember to share and like my video anytime you want. Also, subscribe to my channel to get more news from the royal family. Now have a nice day and see you in the next video.
Hello everyone, the stones are now surrounded Meghan, and there is no end. Meghan is very sad about her ridiculousness, seems to try to apologize on her face, show pity harmful inside the parrot-like figure. It is worrying. Have many times Charles the Queen had to give in to the cold face of Meghan? Will she continue with the hidden things deep in her heart? Only Meghan will know.